Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, we'll be making a beautiful wrap top with puff sleeve. So now I want to draft out the back pattern of my top. I'm using this fabric which I folded into two using my bust measurement, which is the largest part of my upper part. So this is my bust measurement divided by 2. So first thing I did was to mark my shoulder line, and after that I'll mark my bust line. I'll mark the waistline, which is 16 inches, and then the full length I want for the blouse. I'm going to mark that, and I'm just going to connect everything into a straight line. All the points I made, I just marked them into a straight line. So I have my shoulder line, bust line, waistline, and the full length. On the shoulder line, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 7 inches. I also marked that measurement on the bust line. So I just go down by 1 inch from the shoulder line to get my um, s- um shoulder slope, and I'm just going to curve that into the shoulder line just like this. And after that, I'll just connect from that shoulder slope down to the bust line like this. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to mark my bust measurement divided by 4 on the bust line just like this. After I mark that, I'm going to get the midpoint of the armhole line, and I'm going to cover the armhole from that point to the bust measurement I marked on the bust line. So I'm just going to connect from that midpoint to the bust measurement, and after that I'm going to mark half an inch inward from that midpoint I marked on the line, and I'm going to just connect the front side of my armhole line. So I just mark from that shoulder slope down to the midpoint that I marked, and I'll just curve it into the bust measurement I have earlier on. So here I have both my front and the back armhole for this blouse. Okay, so on the shoulder line I'll mark my shoulder, I mean the neck width of 3 inches and a neck depth of 1 inch. I wanted to use a neck depth of 1.5, but I changed my mind and I decided to just go with a neck depth of 1 inch, as you can see. So I'll just curve that out right here. So here I have my neck, my shoulder, and the bust already marked out. We are going to move to the full length of the blouse, and I'll mark my waist measurement divided by 4, and I'll just connect whatever I have down to the bust measurement I have. So I'm just adding 1 inch for seam allowance, okay, and I'll just connect that, and that's basically it for the back pattern. All we have to do now is to cut it out. You see the armhole, and we just cut this out. So after cutting it out, I have this for my back pattern, okay, and I'm going to show you how you can cut out your front. To cut out the front pattern, I have this fabric here that I cut out, and I cut out 2 pieces. Okay, so you're going to make sure that the 2 pieces of fabric you cut out is right sides facing each other, okay, as you saw my own fabric. So I just brought out the back pattern I have, and I'll just place it on it like this. Okay, so I decided to place it this way so you understand it better, so you can see the marking we did for the back pattern. Okay, so after placing it properly, you're going to make sure you have space on the side that is folded, not the um seam allowance side, okay, just on the midpoint. So what I want to do on this top part, I'm going to mark 7 inches downwards. This is going to be how I want the neckline of my blouse to be, how the opening I want. Okay, so from the lower part I'm going to mark my waist measurement divided by 4 just from the midpoint like this, and I'm going to connect the point later on. But first I'm going to fold the back panel out of the way from the neck width that I marked. So I'll just fold it inwards like this, and from that point I marked in the middle where my blouse is going to start from, I'm going to connect down to the waist measurement I marked with my slant ruler just like this. It's very, very easy. I know you get what I'm saying. So for this point where I mark 7 inches downwards, you can decide to go lower. Just know that the lower you go, the more revealing the chest line of your blouse will be. Okay, so after marking that, I will just cut out my pattern, and I'm going to cut out the armhole side as well. And then I'll just cut out the shoulder slope. So now I'll just remove the pin and show you what I have for the front and the back. So this is what I have for the front, the two pieces I have for the front. So when it overlaps, this is how the neckline, I mean the chest side, is going to look. So if you go down more, you have more space at the front. That is, the center will be more revealing. If you want to show more boobs, you can go down more than 7 inches, which I did, but the 7 inches is enough for me. So now we are going to dive right into the stitching of this pattern. So first I'm going to place this, the shoulder to shoulder, first side of the front. Okay, and I'm just going to align it on the side and on the shoulder. Then I'm going to pin this to place, and then when I take it to the sewing machine, I'll just stitch on the shoulder. I'll do the same for the other side. Place it right sides facing, match the shoulder and the armhole, and then I'll just take it to the sewing machine and stitch as well. Okay, so the next thing I'll do once I've done that is to fold the front like this from the hem side like this, and all around the neckline and down to the other side. Or you can also use your bias tape to turn this inside out. So you can use whichever method is best for you or easier for you. Okay, you can just use your bias tape or just fold it the way I did for mine. So I'm just going to take mine to the sewing machine and fold. So guys, so for the sleeve of this blouse, I did a slash and spread method, and I'm going to be showing you that in my, I'm going to show you the details of how I achieved this in my next video. Okay, so this is the sleeve that I have cut out for this blouse. You can see the two of them. So stay tuned for the detailed video of how this sleeve was made. Okay, how I cut this sleeve out. So this sleeve is going to have an elastic band at the hem. So this is my blouse. I have stitched the neckline and the center front. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to go ahead and attach the sleeve. So with this open like this, I'm going to face it right sides facing each other, and I'll just flip the sleeve like this and align it to the armhole of the sleeve to the armhole of the blouse. And you can just go ahead and pin this down to your fabric. Okay, so I did not just pin mine, I just took it there and stitch it like this. After doing that, you just flip it to the wrong side like this and just stitch from the sleeve down to the hem of the blouse. Okay, so I also cut out belt for this blouse, and this is the belt I have turned one inside out, and the other one I just left it to show you what it looks like before I eventually turn it inside out. Okay, so I've attached the sleeve, and this is what I have for the blouse right now. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to attach the belt to the side of the blouse. So I'll face it right side like this and make a stitch on it and flip it. So that's what I have. But before then, I'll just go ahead and hem the lower part of my blouse. Okay, so that's what I want to do, and I'm going to also hem the sleeve of this blouse, and I'm going to leave about 1 inch opening so that I can use to pass my elastic band in. Okay, so this is the elastic band I'm going to be using. I'm just going to cut out what I need. So what you will do is, to know the amount of elastic band you will cut, just measure the place you want to attach the elastic band and remove about 1 to 1.5 inch depending on how tight you want it to be. Okay, so this is the elastic band I'm going to be adding to the hem of my sleeve. So guys, I have attached the belt to my blouse, and this is the sleeve. I have made the stitch I told you I'm going to make, and remember I left about 1 inch to pass it in. So on the side I did an opening to pass the rope in. This is very optional, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Okay, so yeah, now I'm going to pass the elastic band through this blouse, I mean through the sleeve. I'm using my safety pin and I'm just going to pass it through the part where the elastic band is going to be, and I'm just going to use my office pin to secure the elastic band so it doesn't get lost inside the sleeve. Okay, so I'll just pass it through. So you see, it's very easy to make this wrap top. Let me know if you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, just give it a huge thumbs up already. Okay, so once I'm done passing the elastic band through the sleeve opening, I'll just go ahead and pin it in place. Okay, I'm going to pin it in place so that I'll be able to take it to the sewing machine and just sort of stitch the two together. And then once I stitch it, I'll push it in and close the opening I left for the elastic band to pass through. Okay, so I'm going to do the same to the other sleeve, and then I'm going to close the opening I left for the elastic band. So in case you didn't get what I did the first time, this is what I'm doing again. I just put the elastic band, I just put my safety pin to the elastic band and I'm going to pass it through. And also I use office pin to hold the elastic band in place just so it doesn't get lost inside the casing I made for the elastic band casing. Okay, so I'm just passing it through and I'm going to bring it out on the other side just like this, and then I'll take it to the sewing machine to stitch. Okay, so once that is done, it is basically it on how to make a wrap top. I'm just going to throw it on for you to see so that you see how it looks on me. So this is what I have for the wrapped up. It looks so good. It's very beautiful. Okay, and very easy to make. Too well to try this on and let me see what you were able to achieve. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until I see you next time, bye bye.